Winter conditions can hit the Scottish Highlands at any time of the year, and today's adventure was no different. A few days before, I'd been basking in glorious sunshine as temperatures hit the early 20s. But just in a matter of days, a northerly airflow came down and enveloped the country, and I set off into the hills and up into the high tops where winter was still in full flow. Whew! Oh, hello. Oh, and as you can see, well, I don't know if you can make it in the camera or not, but we've got a wee bit of snow today, and we're well into spring. And this time last weekend I was sunbathing. It was shorts and t-shirt weather, and yeah, it felt really summery, but as always happens, I see this every year, and it always surprises me when people start talking about spring snow and how unexpected it is. But from my recollection, I think nearly every spring I've had up in Scotland, there's always been a wee taster of summer, but winter always returns with a wee sting in its tail just as spring moves on. So that's certainly what the conditions are like today. It's a bit snowy, and I think once I get up onto the top, it's going to be a bit wild. I'm sheltered in the glen here, but the temperatures are forecast to be -6, -7 up there. In fact, it was about -2 on the car when I left it at the roadside. So yeah, a bit of a horseshoe today. So I'm coming up the glen and then doing a circular route round 2 mountains. Hopefully when I get up there it'll be nice and snowy. It's going to be hit and miss on whether I get any views though, because the showers are coming and going. We can just cross our fingers that they pass when we're up there and we can get some views. Anyway, I need to stop waffling. I need to get up there or I'll never get there. So less talking, let's get walking. I'll report back later. Let's go. There's a pretty wide Land Rover track that allowed me access into the base of these hills, and before long the snow shower that had hit me as I left the car and started on the walk soon passed by, and the sun was back out. And when I reached the point where I had to start the ascent up the first hill, I could feel the effects of the warmth of the sun, so I took a few layers off before starting to ascend. I knew that the body heat would soon warm me up, even though the air temperature was still hovering around 0. Oh, well, that's me on the ascent now up the first hill, which sits just over 1,000 metres, and it's called Beinn, Udlamain. I think it means the gloomy hill, and it's anything but gloomy at the moment. Maybe earlier on when that snow shower hit, but as you see, I've de-layered a little bit. When the sun comes out at this time of year, it does warm up quite quickly, although I suspect the air temperature is still hovering just above freezing anyway at the moment. But look at these views behind me. Over here is a big corrie of the second hill that I'm going to be going up today. And yeah, this is there's a bit of a walk in, and this is the first steep ascent, hence why I've got the big jacket off. But I'm pretty sure once I get up onto the tops here, I'm going to have to put that back on, because the forecast wind was, I think, 20 to 25 mile an hour with gusts up to 30, 35. So I'm going to enjoy this this weather as it is at the moment, but no doubt a bit further up I'm going to have to get my jacket on. You can also see a band of snow. I'm not sure if the path's going to cross that or not. I might have to get the ice axe out and the crampons on, but we'll see more about that later. So let's enjoy the sunshine and try and get onto the high tops. So before long I'd reached that band of snow that I could see further down the hillside, and just as I thought there was no way around it and I had to stop and get my ice axe out, the ground was suitably steep enough to require it. And I tested the snow out, and initially it was quite soft, so I could kick some steps into it with my winter boots on, but I wasn't sure how soft that snow was going to remain as I got up a bit further on the snow patch. I was certainly glad that I had my ice axe here, and it's something to always remember. I always pack my ice axe and crampons well into early summer, as I've been caught out before. Oh, well, that was interesting. You probably just saw me out going up the steep part with the ice axe. Had it been any steeper, I probably would have needed crampons, but the snow was pretty soft. Although at the top it was starting to get a wee bit more slippy, but yeah, it was fine. Always take an ice axe and crampons. I've said this before, I've been caught out, from experience, I've been caught out well into spring, early summer with not having them, so always come in handy. You never know when you might need them. It might be nice and warm back home. Up here it's still winter. Anyway, I'm now in that fuel, my eyes are streaming, God. I'm now exposed to that northerly wind. I can see some snow showers coming my way, so I'm going to stop here, layer up, and then get cracked onto the summit. The summit's just over behind the camera there. I don't think it's too far, but whilst the sun's still out, I'm going to get wrapped up, prepared for the rest of the walk. Right, let's do that now. Whew, it's cold. It certainly was cold, and it was certainly windy at this point, so I stopped and took my backpack off to get my bigger winter jacket on, and spent a few minutes wrestling with it, trying to get it on in the stiff breeze. But I was glad when I got it on, and I pulled up my mid-layer hoodie just to give my head a wee bit of extra warmth in addition to my beanie hat. After some more brisk walking along this plateau-like top, I was approaching the summit of the first Munro, Beinn Udlamain, and I didn't stop here. You don't get a sense of the coldness and the windiness that was hitting me at this point. It certainly wasn't a place to loiter and have a bite to eat. I took it all in from the summit for a couple of seconds, and then made my way down to try and find a sheltered spot to stop, have a bite to eat, and just figure out where I was going next. Ooh, this is bracing. Well, let me take my ninja disguise off. There we go, you can see me now. Well, that was Beinn Udlamain. I was just on. It sits at a height of 1,000 metres, 1,011 metres, so just over the 1,000 metres mark. And it's the highest of the Munros on the Drumochter 4 that sits on the western side of the A9. And these hills can be done quite easily in a 4. I'm just doing 2 today, but the one that's furthest to the north is Gilles Carn. I've been up loads of times, and I could see it quite closely when I was in the top here. It's not too much. There's not too much of a descent and reascent between these hills, which means they can be put into a round of 4 quite easily. But yeah, I've been quite lucky. I think I said I didn't stop at the top of Beinn Udlamain because the wind was rather brisk. I've come down here behind this snowbank and I've got a bit of shelter here. But yeah, I've been quite lucky because most of the snow showers, I can see them all around me. So far they've missed me, and in fact the sun's out at the moment, as you can see, so it's just lovely. I'm enjoying it. Anyway, I've got to dip down now to the Beinn, and then it's up to the second Munro of the day, and then it's a nice lovely gentle gradient on the way back down. And there's a reason I've done it this way, which I'll maybe talk about in a wee while, but for now I'm going to get cracked on and try and get to the top of Munro number 2. Let's go. I headed down the slopes of Beinn Udlamain, and before long I was ascending up towards the second Munro, Skurnickvoir, and I was being quite lucky because most of those showers, as I'd mentioned, were missing me, and there were still patches of blue sky, but it didn't take long before one of those showers caught up with me, and within a matter of minutes it went from blue skies to being engulfed in a snow shower, and the snow wisping across the summit in those strong winds. It just shows you it can turn so quickly up here, from a beautiful sunny day to conditions where you have to really be on your game for navigation and have all the winter kit. Right, hello. Hopefully you can see me. I'm on the top of the second hill now, which is called Skurnickvoir, and it sits at 991 metres, and it's a bit blowy. In fact, I'm going to have to put this on because the spindrift's coming over and going in my eyes. Hopefully you can still see me. Anyway, this top here is the summit of the hill that you saw when I was coming up the glen earlier on. It's the top of a magnificent corrie, and it always draws my eyes from the road when I'm heading up the A9. Always looking and think that's a fantastic looking corrie, and this is the mountain on top of it. And from here I can see right down into Rannoch. It's a bit sunnier over there actually. It looks like this shower might be passing, but I can imagine on a really clear day that the views are spectacular. I've had great views over to Beinn earlier on as well. Oh, it's snowing up again. And down to Beinn when the shower's allowed the views to be seen. But yeah, it's closing in a bit now, so I'm going to have to get the compass and map out and take a bearing just to make sure I'm going off the right way. I don't want to be heading down into that corrie. That would be a steep and quick descent back into the glen. So yeah, I'm going to shut up and get going now and head back down. I might report back when I'm back down in the glen. Right. Oh, let's get moving. It's getting cold. Whoa, right. Time to move. So with the snow shower passing by, I left the summit and had the strong, cold wind at my back, which I was glad of, heading down off the hill, and I was headed down to the warmth of the valley. That's me back down to the glen, as you can see, and it's quite nice now. That shower eventually passed over on the summit, and I've just been coming down from that lovely corrie for the last wee while, and there's not much wind down here, so I'm going to stop, get some of these bits and bobs that I don't need anymore back in the bag. And I was going to explain why I did this in an anti-clockwise direction. Some of the descriptions tell you to go up the way I came down, so up that way and round, but today it's a northerly stroke northwesterly wind. So by going up the way I went, I was in the shelter for most of the way up until I got onto the tops, which you saw when I was hit by the wind. And then when I came back round and down here, I had the wind at my back. So it's always worthwhile checking out the wind direction and the local forecast before heading off to decide, one, where you're going, and two, which way to do it. It makes a bit of a difference. So anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I'm going to take my pack off here, pack away some of the stuff, and then it's about a half an hour walk back to the car. So thanks for watching, stay safe out there, and I'll hopefully see you in the next adventure.